Hello everyone, and welcome back to Real Living, and welcome if you're new. Today's video we have a bunch of cleaning motivation like we always do. We've got a few different projects that we have going on in the house. We're trying to get the kitchen ready for a surprise for next week's video, and I will get more into that later on in this video. But, yeah, we've got a few different projects going on, a few different things that we need to get cleaned up. So, come along with me and let's get motivated. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I've got 30 minutes if you want to spill your mind. Give me all your reasons to why I should take my time. Used to have forever, but you never cared that much.
So we are starting off in the kitchen, and I wanted to start off in here because I actually have a spice rack that it just came in, but it's not going to be in this video. It's going to be in the next video. But I needed to get another spice rack because, as you can see, I have a lot of spices, and I just kind of need a little bit more organization in that little area. So I wanted to start in the kitchen and kind of get everything cleaned up. There were a few dishes to do, the stove, the counters, and stuff like that. But I wanted to really focus on getting the spices and everything kind of cleaned off and getting the counter space over by the sink cleared so that when, at this point, the rack had not gotten to the house yet, but it is here now. So at this point I'm just getting it ready so that I didn't really have anything else to do other than just go ahead and get it put up. So that was my main focus in the kitchen.
As friends, do it again, do it again, do it again. I trusted you once, but I won't do that again.
So Joe and his dad actually built this little shelf that my extra spices are on. I like to try to get as many spices into the little glass jars as I can because it just makes it a little bit easier when I'm seasoning for dinner and things like that. But he built me this little shelf here for all of the extras. I wanted to get the spice rack because some of the bigger spices don't fit up on that shelf that he made. So I wanted to get something to kind of make it a little bit more organized and hopefully bring down a couple of the smaller bowls and stuff like that I use to mix stuff in and put them on this shelf instead. But as I was cleaning, I noticed that there were quite a few spices that I needed to leave down instead of putting it back up there because I needed to fill them all up. So this is also a restock along with cleaning it all and getting it ready for the spice rack that would be coming in.
Do it again, do it again, do it again. I trusted you once, but I won't do that again. Again, again. took control, but now I'm gone. Bye bye, bring the fire. You took something beautiful and made it something cruel. It's all that I get from you. You're so delusional. Now watch me take control. I've been running from myself like I'm somebody else. Kinda left me alone. All the love is gone. Now I'm coming around. Got a stake in the ground. Gonna stick it to you. I'm gonna let you go. Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. I'm gonna stick it to you. Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. I'm gonna stick it to you. Breaking free, finally. I paid my dues. Now you play the blues. Bottom line, you're out of time. Now you're gonna learn what it's like to lose. You took something beautiful and made it something cruel. It's all that I get from you. You're so delusional. Now watch me take control. I've been running from myself like I'm somebody else. Kinda left me alone. All the love is gone. Now I'm coming around. Got a stake in the ground. Gonna stick it to you.
And we are moving on to the living room. And in here, it was mainly tidying and just kind of wiping a few things down and stuff like that. But I have to say, I don't know if I'm the only one, but it seems like every time I make the couch and it looks beautiful and it's all put together and it looks good, by the end of the night, the pillows are on the floor, the blanket is all messed up. Like, I can never keep this couch looking nice. I have to literally make it every day. And as you can see, I don't do that because I get tired of making it every single day. So when I do make it, I get a lot of pride and it looks so good. And then like 10 minutes later, the dogs have knocked the pillows off or have pulled the blanket down or the kids have messed it up somehow. So it's like it never stays put together.
Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. I'm gonna stick it to you. Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. I'm gonna stick it to you. Once we had it all. How could you let us fall? I've been running from myself like I'm somebody else. Kinda left me alone. All the love is gone. Now I'm coming around. Got a stake in the ground. Gonna stick it to you. I'm gonna let you go. Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. I'm gonna stick it to you. Let you go. Let you go. Let you go. I'm gonna stick it to you. You came along, couldn't look away. Somehow you turned my life completely upside down. And since you've been gone, there's no peace of mind. My foolish heart and healing thought I would be fine. No matter where I lay my head, another time, another bed. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you. still can stand.
So we are into the next day here, and the very first thing that I needed to do was go ahead and get dinner started, because I was going to put it in the slow cooker and just set it and forget it. I love meals like that. And today, or that day I should say, I ended up making a pot roast. Now, this is not a typical or traditional pot roast. This is just things that, flavors that I found work really well together in this type of dish. Just basically something I kind of threw together. Things that, you know, I knew would work well, and then I just kind of put it all together and made it my own. That is, for me, the beauty in cooking. I am a self-taught cook. I taught myself everything I know. I did not have a mom to teach me how to cook or anything like that. And my dad worked all the time. He worked like 6 days a week, and he was gone before I got up for school, and he was home a couple hours before I went to bed. So needless to say, there was a lot that I taught myself how to do. And then when I met Joe, he also had some knowledge in the kitchen as well. So he was able to kind of pass some of that knowledge on to me as well. So when I say I'm not a chef, I'm not a cook or anything like that, that's what I mean. Everything that I do, I've kind of learned how to do on my own or with Joe's help. So these are just things that I know my kids are going to eat. I know we're all going to like it, and they're flavors that work well together. And that's one of the best things about cooking. I absolutely love being able to just put things together and see if it works and see if it doesn't. And when they do work, they usually work really well.
But every time I think these scars are about to mend.
After I got all the vegetables ready, which was just basically the onions and the garlic, I went ahead and seasoned the meat, and I wanted to sear it. I like to sear it because I feel like it kind of holds all the moisture and all the juices inside as it's cooking. And so I will sear it on both sides, and then I will hold it in the pan and get the edges as well. Like, I try to at least get some kind of sear or seal it as best I can on the outside before I put it in my slow cooker. And then I like to use the same pan to cook my onions and my garlic. I don't cook them for very long. That's why there's quite a bit of butter, but it's also part of the sauce that I make that goes into cooking the meat all day. I'll add that, and then as I was cooking the meat, I mixed together a couple of tablespoons of Worcestershire and a couple tablespoons of soy sauce and a couple of bouillon cubes. I did not salt the meat itself, overly salted. I usually don't, because I know that between the soy sauce and the bouillon cubes and the Worcestershire, that's all really salty. But I let it cook in that, and I don't necessarily serve the sauce as much. I will put a small ladle in there, but I know the salt in the sauce is what's flavoring the food in it. And also, when I put the potatoes in at the end of the day, those potatoes also get to absorb some of that salt as well, and I don't have to put as much seasoning on the food itself when the juices that it's cooking in is so flavorful.
Where I lay my head, another town, another bed. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you. No matter who I try to love, it's always you I'm thinking of. No matter what I do, I'm still gonna be dreaming of you. Nobody got the magic
After I got everything set up and cooking for the day, I moved out to the porch and I needed to get it cleaned. The porch is actually a porch slash dining room. We do use this area as a dining room. We don't use it as often, especially in the summertime and in the middle of winter. When it is super, super hot outside or really, really, really cold, we don't usually come out here. That's why we have those TV dinner tables that we have. But we do love sitting out in this area. But the dogs are pretty much the ones that they prefer to be out here a lot of times. That's why we have a couple of dog beds and why there is so much dog hair all over the place and dust and dirt. It is screened in, so there is no windows, so dirt and dust is easily comes through. Plus, having the animals out there a lot. We usually keep the sliding glass door cracked throughout the day so that they can come in and out as they wish. But on the really, really hot days, we'll try to keep them in the house. But there's times where they just want to be out on the porch. And then I'll notice they're panting really hard. So I'm like, all right, y'all need to come inside now. But they do love being out on the porch. They love the fresh air. And I just really needed to get in here and get everything wiped down, dusted off, and swept up. And it was incredible the amount of dog hair and dirt that I ended up sweeping up from this porch. Honestly, I should do it more often, but when it's so hot outside, we don't really go out onto the porch. We're either in the backyard or in the pool or in the house or something like that. We're not really on the porch that much. So this kind of got a little neglected, and you can see the result of that.
Nothing better than your kiss, something that I can't resist. Can't forget the nights you were mine.
I know I have said it a bunch of times before when I'm cleaning my laundry room, or even when I've cleaned the porch before, about the shag rugs and how I clean them. So I figured this time I would show you guys. When I tell you that I take my rugs out and I will hang them over the fence and have Joe use the leaf blower, this is what I mean. It seems to be one of the most effective ways for us to clean these rugs without having to put too much stress on my vacuum cleaner, because they are really thick shag rugs. So they're a lot harder for my vacuum to get all the little pieces and everything like that. And obviously the leaf blower doesn't get every little single bit either, but it works out a whole lot better than what my vacuum does.
Prison cigarette smoke, is it the print you wanna leave behind? Get all those cold eyes cold looking, but saying bye bye bye. I don't wanna talk before the moment slowly slips away. Get a little dirty, baby, nothing you ain't got.
It's about 2 hours left or so before dinner would be at least ready to serve. So this is when I go ahead and start chopping up my potatoes to put them in the crock pot. I will usually do this about 2 hours, and then about 30 minutes to an hour after I put them in, I will take the meat out and let it start cooling. And then it's about, I want to say about 10 to 15 minutes before I'm ready to serve. I will do a little cheat. I don't go through enough carrots to get fresh carrots, and I always end up throwing some carrots away, and I just find it's a waste of money for me, even though I love fresh carrots. So what my trick is I will take a can of the carrots and drain them, get all of that stuff out of it, and put it in there about 10 to 15 minutes before I'm ready to serve. I'll just stir it just to combine it, and then I don't stir it again until I'm ready to serve it, because I don't want the carrots to break down. We already know that when they're in the can, they're soft, so I try not to break them down too much. But that is my little cheat, and the kids love it, so I mean, if it works, right?
Yeah. Fire burning like I do under my tattoos. Just a remedy, remedy, remedy. Yeah, and the way you go, baby, don't you know? There's a remedy, remedy, remedy. Darling Palooza, ain't gonna lose ya. I'm gonna.
The kids haven't been in the swimming pool for probably 2 weeks now. They were at their grandparents' house for one weekend, and then another weekend it was raining and they couldn't go in the pool because it was lightning and everything else. So the pool got pretty nasty. When we went to fill it back up, we actually had a blowout in the splash pad that the kids were playing on. So we ended up having to stop for the day and try to fix the splash pad, but I'm not sure if we can fix it because there is a hole busted right on the seam. So we're hoping we can fix it, but so far we haven't figured out what we're going to do yet. But I had to wait until the next morning to finish filling it up. It got kind of late trying to fix the splash pad, so the next morning I went back out and just scooped some of the stuff that had fallen out of the trees and stuff, and we filled it back up.
Remedy, 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 yeah, and the way you go, baby, don't you know? There's a remedy, 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 Darling Palooza, ain't gonna lose ya. I'm gonna do that. Darling Palooza, ain't gonna lose ya. Darling Palooza, ain't gonna lose ya. I'm gonna do that. Darling Palooza, ain't gonna lose ya. Was it hot for you, baby love? Hot for you, baby love. Hot for you, baby love. Hot, 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 hot for you, baby love. Hot for you, baby love. Yeah, yeah. Hot for you, baby love. Hot for you, baby love. Hot for you, baby love. Hot, 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 hot for you, baby love. Hot for you, baby love. Yeah, yeah. Fire burning like I do under my tattoos. Just a remedy, remedy, remedy. Yeah, and the way you go, baby, don't you know? There's a remedy, remedy, remedy. Yeah, yeah. There's a remedy, remedy. Yeah.
So the very, very last thing that I did get done was the hallway. I had to get the hallway done because dealing with the pool and the kids being in and out of the splash pad and out in and out of the pool, they attract in a lot of dirt, and then obviously the amount of dog hair that builds up in this hallway it's always ridiculous. So I had to get in here and get it all cleaned up. I vacuumed, and then I brought in my O-cedar spray mop. I love this thing for this hallway. It makes it so much easier than, bringing out the mop and bucket. So that's what I ended up doing here. So yeah, this is the end of the video, and I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you try out my recipe. I'm going to link it in the description below, but stay tuned for next week when I am going to be showing you the process of putting up the spice rack in the kitchen, and we'll be getting the kitchen a little bit more organized and rearranged. So stay tuned for that, and I want to thank you all for watching, and I can't wait to see you next week.